My students, this is my 7th career. And sometimes they think, oh my goodness, maybe he can't keep a job. Oh. And then I always say, you know, don't get burned out, get fired up. And so the first position I had the privilege of having, a really accidental one, or I like to think perhaps inspired by something more than me, was an opportunity to serve as a very young member of a staff heading up an organization related to the permanent observer of the Holy See to the United Nations, Alberto Giovannetti, who was the first.
You left Chicago, where you were born and where you grew up and studied, and you moved to New York, or were you traveling?
I went to Georgetown University for 4 years to acquire a degree in nonviolent civil rights participation. Oh, but my official degree was in the School of Foreign Service, but working within the King organization, and in particular the Center for Creative Nonviolence, participating in civil disobedience. Because as Dr. King would have said, and he did say, you have the right to protest for the right, but it doesn't mean everyone's going to agree with you.
Yes.
But you have to demonstrate the power of peace through your involvement there. And while acquiring a degree in foreign service, I discovered that my real interest
so maybe
was
that's
creating.
That's why you love traveling, because you got a degree in foreign service. So you got to go to the foreign lands and you got to connect.
And at Georgetown, I had the privilege of working 3 summers in Mexico, again connecting people to peace through service under the auspices of the First Lady of Mexico, in an effort to get the students of the National University to replace all the American volunteers who were supporting her National Institute to Protect Infants. But
so what was this all about in details that you guys had to literally do practically when you were at the United Nations?
Well, at the United Nations, again, my first regular job after Georgetown University was essentially, I was responsible for gathering in the International Catholic Movement for Intellectual and Cultural Affairs in North America. And I had counterparts in Asia, South America, the Middle East, Europe, and Africa. Wow. And in North America, that consisted of carrying a red passport and visiting many military dictatorships to get people engaged in social justice out of jail and to get them to international conferences, either in Spain, in Switzerland, or in Italy. Because that time, think of the 1960s, Cold War, and some of the brighter people, the Paulo Freire's of the world, the Juan Luis Segundos of the Western Hemisphere, and so on, and then of course the beautiful people with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, who occasionally likewise enjoyed some attention from an international group.
Basically, you were a diplomat.
You could describe it, but at a very low level. Meaning, in other words,
at a low level in the eyes of politicians, but at a very high level in the eyes of God and humanity.
I would accept that. Okay, but I think but that's the important point.
Yeah, because people may look at that from a political point of view as well, not very.
He wasn't representing the State Department,
right? But when it comes to God and humanity and a service,
I'd like to think so.
Very high.
No, thank you for that interpretation.
Blessed. I think that was very unique.
But
and God opened many roads for you from that.
And that's why sometimes I feel like Forrest Gump walking through pieces of history, but I did stop and try to make a contribution in each piece.